Amnesia is generally considered to be one of the best horror games of all time and has cemented itself in video game history as the horror game that future games of the genre will always be compared to and even try to copy. Released on September 10th, 2010 to critical reception and popularity, Frictional Games, having this milestone, realized that making a follow-up was definitely going to be a daunting task. After many teasers and trailers, SOMA came out to try and fill the gap and, well, judging by the sales numbers and the amount of custom content for the game, they were rather lackluster comparably. But why? SOMA is by no means a terrible game, and in fact actually tries its best to stand out from Amnesia and actually has things in it that Amnesia wishes it did. Today I'm going to talk about why SOMA just didn't have as much of an impact as Amnesia did. To understand why SOMA didn't hit as hard, we have to understand what made Amnesia so damn good. The point lies within its atmosphere and mechanics. Amnesia, with all intents and purposes, was made to scare the living shit out of you. Every single mechanic and enemy is designed to have you piss your pants as great and efficiently as possible. The game actively asks you to immerse yourself by having you play in the dark with headphones on, and for good reason. The game immerses you with how you engage your surroundings in the game's world. You open chests, doors, and pick up items with the simple clicks and drags of the mouse, which, in the general sense, works perfectly fine, and you typically wouldn't have issues doing this normally, especially later on in the game when you think you would have mastered these mechanics by then. But once the tension amplifies, it causes you to lose that sense of control and you start to feel like the mechanics are working against you. And as you're running away, you start to realize like, oh god, the door isn't opening, oh god, I can't close the door behind me, please, oh god, please, the fucking monster's after me. Now that right there is true fear. And of course we can't forget the sanity system, which was deliberately designed to create a constant sense of urgency as you played. Not being able to look at the enemies directly causes you to think about their movements and causes your mind to wonder where to even go next. On top of that, not being able to stay in the dark for too long causes you to be cautious of your surroundings at all times, especially when you're in the midst of trying to escape an enemy. Standing in the light isn't really ideal either. All of these mechanics combined with such a dense and dreary atmosphere creates one of the best and most immersive horror experiences you should experience. Not only this, Amnesia for the time also stood out against its competition. Most survival horror games gave you at least one way to defend yourself against the main threat. Frictional's design philosophy takes that concept and puts it right in the fucking incinerator where it belongs. Not to say those types of games are bad though. I fucking love Resident Evil 4, but anyways. But yeah, Amnesia was designed to make you feel helpless. The game strips you of any sense of confidence towards its set pieces and will have you crouching for dear life trying to wiggle around its many catacombs. But, unfortunately, even with all the amazing mechanics, atmosphere, and sense of hopelessness that I've been talking about, that's not really what Amnesia was remembered for. You may be asking, then what was it remembered for? Well, let's just have a look.
Oh my god! I can't go!
The Let's Play was the most popular kind of content you would find on YouTube, and Amnesia was no stranger to being roped into this trend. Being a horror game, of course, people knew that they could make great content out of it, and you know what? It worked. In fact, I used to watch and enjoy these videos all the time, but you start to realize that the game is presented in the worst way possible through these videos. Since these guys are trying to be entertaining, random freakouts and making funny commentary about their surroundings put a lens on the game that no one couldn't see. Amnesia was reduced to being a jump scare walking sim with a tiny little cast of characters via some of the objects in the game. No PewDiePie Amnesia video was set without having their infamous Stefanos and barrels.
Someone did something nasty. What? I didn't even know what happened. Where's Stefano? Stefano, where did you? Oh no!
Bah! What are you doing there? Let me just squeeze through. Oh, you're lucky I'm fat. You little shit.
A lot of YouTubers would also just pick the first custom stories that they would see on ModDB, and some would barely represent what Amnesia was trying to present. Having this perspective of the game by the general audience, though, has caused Amnesia to fall under a category that it never really was in. And because of this, most future horror games would become what people thought Amnesia was, incorporating scripted jump scares and stupid enemies that are perfect for this kind of content. Layers of Fear and Outlast being great examples of what this would become.
Hello? Mr. Munchie? Did something go wrong?
Now that we know what happened with Amnesia, let's get right into SOMA. We know Frictional was in a predicament. They really didn't want to do the same thing they did with Amnesia and instead focused on being more narrative driven. Now of course it's not like Amnesia didn't have a narrative, but the main character Daniel didn't really have much characterization and the game never really stops you for points of dialogue and exposition. The game focuses more on immersion and wants you to be the character of Daniel. Your thoughts are his thoughts and what you do is what he does. In the case of SOMA, the character of Simon Jarrett is an actual character with thoughts and feelings. He has dialogue that reflects his mindset, and we're along for the ride.
What is this place? How did I get here?
The dialogue between Simon and Catherine and the other various people you come across are also some of the best parts of the game, and show off the capability of narrative in this kind of game, and are also designed to make Simon and the player question their very existence in a world that's so detached from reality.
If we got to it, could we get on the Ark?
I suppose, but I'm not exactly flexible at the moment.
I'll take us there. I can move, jump, swim, sort of. You're stuck in the door opener, the Omni tool. I'll just carry you there and you'll show me what to do.
While the immersion is still present, the atmosphere is the part that gets dumbed down here. Since there's active characterization here, the game will slow down or outright stop for dialogue. This makes the game feel broken up, meaning that monster encounters and dialogue sections feel separated from each other and don't really intertwine. That's not to say it's a bad thing. In the case of SOMA, it was a necessity to have this due to the constraints of having characterization in this kind of game. But the characters are great. Speaking on that, SOMA is very different when it comes to its approach of fear. Amnesia was all about trying to scare you within the space of its atmosphere and interactive gameplay, but with SOMA, the goal is to make you think. The game is a psychological thriller, and is all about asking profound and philosophical questions that would have your mind racing even after you put down the game. I would try to explain the many situations where it makes you think profoundly, but I would never be able to do it justice, and you really should play it for yourself to truly understand what the game presents. Unfortunately, in the gameplay department, it had a bit of a shift, removing the mechanics that you, the player, had in Amnesia, and instead put some of those mechanics into the monster encounters, or just completely stripped it entirely. One example is your sanity system. The darkness aspect of it was completely stripped, and not being able to look at enemies is tied to one particular enemy, that being the Flesher. There is this glitching on your screen when you look at the enemies, which mechanically does nothing, but in lore sense, it makes complete sense. SOMA does its best, though, to make each enemy encounter unique, and each monster has their own way of getting around them. Having all these stripped mechanics such as sanity and no inventory shows that they wanted to go for a more simplified direction, so that progressing the story would be much easier, and also because these were also viewed as outdated for the time. I'm not calling SOMA a walking sim either. The game definitely has its moments of interaction, but it's very clear that the direction they went didn't support the kind of content that the general YouTube audience was looking for. It's pretty easy to see why SOMA just didn't stick with the same audience that Amnesia had. Its different approach to fear, coupled with its simplified mechanics and the lack of ways to show consistent fear, turned off a lot of Lens players, and because of this, never really took off in that landscape, especially with the saturation of the market with Amnesia copies too. Not only this, the lack of custom content is also very present. Even though there's a Steam workshop for this game, there's only 79 entries of custom content as of this recording. Someone even made a mod to completely remove all of the monster encounters from the game just so people could just experience the story and not have to deal with the random broken up segments. SOMA, while not having as big of an impact as Amnesia, still did right with what it was going for, and is a game that should still be experienced. Unfortunately, due to the current Let's Play landscape and what the game was trying to achieve, it never hit that same big audience of the old Amnesia days, and people just didn't really care. Chances are most people watching this video, and even the people that watched Amnesia and SOMA only on YouTube, only know these games through that lens, and I implore you to at least try and experience them yourself, and truly understand for what they actually are. That's my big takeaway from this video. Very short, but it's just a topic that I wanted to touch upon. Very short and sweet. But hi guys, it's me, Midbus. I am currently working on a much bigger analysis that should be coming out hopefully sometime soon. I don't know exactly when, but this is just something that I wanted to make in the meantime. And for right now, I hope it goes well. But yeah, anyways, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Big analysis should be coming in probably within this month, or yeah, within this month, hopefully. That's the plan. So hope you guys stay tuned, and thank you for watching. Again, thank you for watching. And if you want to, no, not even if you want to, please subscribe. Please, I'm desperate. Please, oh, for fuck's sake, please.